Good evening. Once again, we return to the story of Caius, Spellsword, Dunmer, Eternal Champion, most loyal servant of the Emperor, finest courier in Tamriel, former head of the Blades in Vardenfell, Auditor of the Great Houses, Mayor of Arene. And if I recall correctly, we were on our way to do some work for the Count.
Zoga knows Black Brugo. He has a plan to ambush him. Black Brugo visits his gang's hideout to collect his share of the loot every night between midnight and 6 in the morning. The hideout is an island ruin west of Leyawiin called Telepe. Zoga offered to help me find and kill Black Brugo. She will wait in the castle hall until I ask her to follow me.
Alright, so we have 12 hours before... But I guess there's nothing else for me to do. Yeah, let's just get an early start on we'll get an early start on the quest. If nothing else, we can just wait around for a bit.
If you're ready to go get Black Brugo, I'm ready to follow you.
I'm ready. Come with me.
Let's go.
So I don't know if there's anything else for us to do in Leyawiin after this, but if nothing else, we should just turn in what we've already finished, and then I might just go and try and find some more.
Sir, I got nothing to eat.
I might just try and go and find some of the
A pleasure to see you.
and you as well. I might try and just get the remaining recommendations.
Hello.
I won't take my horse just because I've got all my companions. And obviously I'm not looking to, I'm not really looking to rush here.
Speak.
I guess before I go too far, I need to get paranoid with my saving again. Oh wow, we made very good time.
You'll ever make.
Do I even want to guess what happened to my orc companion? I guess shame on me for assuming an NPC would follow me on a road. I might have to reload if I can't find, Ah. Fair enough. Fleeing from what is a whole other question, but where did they come from? Alright, well, if nothing else, we can always pass the time by reading whatever's left in my library.
Jump on my sword while you
Didn't realize that counted as stolen.
I'm with you, friend. For you? Of course. You too.
I think I know what I did. think I accidentally pickpocketed my companion.
I'm just warming up!
Probably gonna have to drop more over time, but... I can kind of afford to be careless now that I have skeleton keel, looks like.
Brugos take 300 ducks, ready for mid-das pickup after midnight.
Alright, so obviously I'm not sure if this is gonna work, but... Okay, I think I've got an idea of the books I still need to read, so, just in case I didn't read Varieties of Daedra.
Varieties of Daedra by Aranea Drethan, healer and dissident priest. There is little chance of our ever understanding the various orders of Daedra and their relationships to the Daedra lords and their dominions. Of the varieties of Daedra that appear in our world and the varieties of their relationships to their fellows and their Daedra patrons, there is no end. In one place in time, they are seen to be this, and in another place in time, they are seen to be the opposite, and in another place in time, they are seen to be both this and that in completely contradictory terms. What Daedra serves this prince? What Daedra gives orders, and what Daedra serves, and in what hierarchy and under what circumstances? What Daedra exist in fellowship with one another, and what Daedra have eternal enmity to one another, and what Daedra are solitary or social, and by turn solitary or social. There are no limits to the varieties and behaviors that may be observed, and in one place they may be this, and in another place they may be that, and all rules describing them are always found to be contradictory and an exception to others. Further, from whom may we seek answers to our questions about these orders? From mortals who know little but what we may observe from another world? From the gods who speak in riddles or of enigmas wrapped in mysteries and who keep things from us, the better to preserve their dominion over us? From the Daedra themselves, who are never the models of straightforwardness or truth-telling, but rather are famous for misstatements and obfuscations? And even were the Daedra to speak the truth, how can we know if they know themselves, or that there is any truth about them that is to be known, or are all arrangements among the Daedra protean and ever subject to change? In short, what is to be known is little, and what is to be trusted is nothing. These things being said, I shall venture to relate what I have observed and heard of the relationships of the servants of the Lord Dagon in my brief service to the Telvanni wizard Leyawiin, when I sought him out and offered to bring peace to the victims of the Corpus in his sanitarium, once the prophecies of the Incarnate had been fulfilled and Dagoth-Ur had been destroyed and the Blight had been banished from the island of Vardenfell forever. Leyawiin told me that he, by choice, trafficked only with two Daedra powers, Merinus Dagon and Azura. Azura, he said, knew and understood all things, and declined to speak of these things, or only spoke in riddles. Merinus Dagon, on the other hand, out of pride, fixity, or purpose, and a predictable lack of subtlety and thought, knew nothing and understood nothing, and was inclined to speak freely and without falsehood. Leyawiin said that Dagon's chief servants, the Dremora, were like him in pride, fixed purpose, and lack of subtlety, with the addition of the particular traits of honor and loyalty, both within their class and within their relationship to the Lord Dagon. And Leyawiin said that the Dremora were ordered into clans and castes, and these clans and castes were well defined. Individual Dremora might rise or fall in ranks, or move back and forth among clans, but only when regulated by complex oaths, and only at the will and pleasure of their Lord Dagon. The Dremora refer to themselves as the kin, the people, contrasting themselves to other Daedra, whom they consider unthinking animals. The term Kinaz refers to a member of the Dremora race, he of the kin. The least of kin castes are the churls, the undistinguished rabble of the lower rank of Dremora. Churls are obsequious to superiors, but ferociously cruel to humans and other Daedra. Next in rank are caitiffs, creatures of uncalculating zeal, energy without discrimination. Caitiffs are used as irregulars in the faction wars of the Daedra, as berserkers and shock troops, undisciplined and unreliable, but eager and willing. The highest of the regular rank-and-file Dremora troops are the Kinvels, warrior knights who have distinguished themselves in battle and shown the deliberate steadiness of potential war leaders. Above the rank-and-file warriors of the Churl, Caitiff, and Kinvel castes are officer classes. The Kinreeve is a clan sheriff or clan officer. Kinreeves are typically associated with either with a clan fighting unit or an administrative office in the order of battle. The Kinmarcher is the lord and high officer of a Daedric citadel, outpost, or gate. A Kinmarcher's command is usually associated both with a unit and with a fief, a location or territory for which he is responsible. Above the Kinmarcher is the Markans, or Grand Duke. A Markins is a Lord of Lords and member of the Markin, Merinus Dagon's Council of Lords. The highest rank of Dremora is the Valkins, or Prince. The Warrior Duke is a member of the Valkin, Merinus Dagon's personal guard. Valknaz are rarely encountered on Tamriel. Normally, they remain by Merinus Dagon's side or serve as commanders or operations of particular importance or interest to Dagon. Of the varieties of other Daedra I encountered while served in Leyawiin's Corpusarium, Ogrims and Golden Saints, Daedroths and Winged Twilights, Scamps and Clanfear. There is much that might be said, but little that is helpful or reliable. I did note, however, that when Leyawiin sought a Daedra of a character like unto a Dremora, but of greater power and greater inclination for independence and initiative, or solely as a master, he summoned the Zivali, who are like the Dremora in personality and temperament, except that they hate subordination and are liable to disloyalty and betrayal when they feel that they have not been treated with the proper deference and respect. The feral beast-like Daedra, like the Clanfear and the Daedroth, appear in the service of many different Daedric powers, and may represent common creatures existing like wild animals in the wilderness of Oblivion. Other savage, semi-intelligent creatures like Scamps and Spider Daedra may also be found in the realms of various Daedra lords. The case of the elemental Antranax, on the other hand, is less certain. Flame and Frost Antranax, for example, appear to be highly intelligent, but not all varieties of elemental Antranax seem to be social or to have the power of speech. Diviath Fear preferred not to summon or deal with these creatures, had little experience with them, and showed no inclination to speculate upon their nature, and so I learned little about them during my time at Telfir. The Adabal-A. Editor's note, the Adabal-A is traditionally believed to be the memoirs of Morahouse, consort to Alicia the Slave Queen. While this cannot be historically verified, the Adabal-A is certainly among the one of the oldest written accounts to come down to us from the First Era. I think I've read this.
Yes, we did. All right. On to the Song of Pelinal.
The Song of Pelinal, Volume 1, On His Name. Editor's note, Volumes 1 through 6 are taken from the so-called Remen manuscript located in the Imperial Library. It is a transcription of older fragments collected by an unknown scholar of the early Second Era. Beyond this, little is known of the original sources of these fragments, some of which appear to be from the same period, perhaps even from the same manuscript. But as no scholarly consensus yet exists on dating these 6 fragments, no opinions will be offered here. That he took the name Pelinal was passing strange, no matter later sobriquets, which were many. That was an elvish name, and Pelinal was a scourge on that race, and not much given to irony. Pelinal was much too grim for that. Even in youth, he wore white hair, and trouble followed him. Perhaps his enemies named Pelinal of their own in their tongue. But that is doubtful, for it means glorious knight, and he was neither to them. Certainly, many others added to that name during his days in Tamriel. When he was Pelinal the Whitestrake because of his left hand, made of a killing light. He was Pelinal the Bloody, for he drank in victory. He was Pelinal Insurgent because he gave the Crusades a face. He was Pelinal in Triumph, as the words eventually became synonymous, and men-at-arms gave thanks to the Eight when they saw his banner coming through war. He was Pelinal the Blamer, for he was quick to admonish those allies of his that favored tactics that ran counter to his, that is, sword theory. And he was Pelinal the Third, though whether this was because some said he was a god geyser who had incarnated twice before already, or that simpler, he was the third person given to Perif, anon Alicia, in her prayers of liberation before he walked among the corridors of rebellion, is unknown. Song of Pelinal, Volume 2, On His Coming. And then Perif spoke to the handmaiden again, eyes to the heavens, which had not known kindness since the beginning of elven rule. And she spoke as a mortal, whose kindle is beloved by the gods for its strength and weakness, a humility that can burn with metaphor and yet break easily, and always doomed to end in death. And this is why those who let their souls burn anyway are beloved of the dragon and his kin. And she said, "And this thing I have thought of, I have named it, and I call it freedom," which I think is just another word for Shazar who goes missing. You made the first reign at his sundering, and that is what I ask now for our alien masters, that we might sunder them fully and repay their cruelty by dispersing them to drown in the Topol. Moraus, your son, mighty and snorting, gore-horned, winged, and when next he flies down, let him bring us anger. And then Kine granted Perif another symbol, a diamond soaked red with the blood of elves, whose facets could unsector and form, into a man whose every angle could cut their jailers, and a name, Pelinal, which is the star-made knight, and he who is arrayed in armor from the future time. And he walked into the jungles of Cirid, already killing Morehouse, stamping at his side, froth bloody and bellowing from excitement, because Pelinal was come. And Pelinal came to Perif's camp of rebels, holding a sword and a mace, both encrusted with the smashed viscera of elven faces, feathers, and magic beads, which were the markings of the Isladoon, stuck to the redness that hung from his weapons. And he lifted them, saying, "These were their eastern chieftains, no longer full of their taking."
We will let time pass, because there's a lot of chapters in this book.
Song of Pelinal 3, Volume 3, On His Enemy. Pelinal Whitestrake was the enemy of all elf kind that lived in Cyrod in those days. Mainly, though, he took it upon himself to slay the sorcerer kings of the Eyelids in pre-arranged open combats rather than at war. The fields of rebellion he left to the growing armies of the Parvanya and his bull nephew. Pelinal called out Haromir of Copper and Tea into a duel at the Tor, and ate his neck veins while screaming praise to Remen, a name that no one knew yet. Gordour the Shaper's head was smashed upon the goat-faced altar of Nindava, and in his wisdom, Pelinal set a small plague spell to keep that evil from reforming by Welkin magic. Later that season, Pelinal slew Hadul on the granite steps of Seatar, the Fire King's spears knowing their first refute. For a time, no weapon of the Eyelids could pierce his armor, which Pelinal admitted was unlike any crafted by men, but would say no more even when pressed. When Huma, who Pelinal raised from grain slave to hoplite and loved well, took death from an arrowhead made of the break of Selithel the Singer, the Whitestrake went on his first madness. He wrought destruction from Narlamain all the way to Cledil, and erased those lands from the maps of elves and men, and all things in them, and Perif was forced to make sacrifice to the gods to keep them from leaving the earth in their disgust. And when came the storming of the White Gold, where the Eyelids had made pact with the Aurorans of Meridia, and summoned them, and appointed that terrible and golden-hued half-elf, Umaral the Unfeathered, as their champion, and for the first time since his coming, it was Pelinal who was called out to battle by another, for Umaril had the blood of the Ada, and would never know death.
Sorry, I set an alarm somewhere and I forgot to turn it off. I'll be back in just a second. All right, sorry about that. It also gave me a chance to get some water, so.
Pelinal drove the sorcerer armies past the Nibin, claiming all the eastern lands for the rebellion of the Parvania, and Kine had to send her rain to wash the blood from the villages and forts that no longer flew eyelid banners, for their armies of men needed to make camps for of them as they went forward. And he broke the doors open for the prisoners of the Vashit, with a slave queen flying on Morias above them, and men called her Alesh for the first time. He entered the gate to win back the hands of the 1,000 strong of Sedor, a tribe now unknown but famous in those days, which the Eyelids had stolen in the night. 2,000 hands that he brought back in a wagon made of demon bone, whose wheels trailed at the sound of women when ill at heart. Text lost, and after the first pogrom, which consolidated the northern holdings of the men of Creeth, he stood with white hair gone brown with elf blood at the bridge of Heldon, where Paris falconers had sent for the Nords, and they, looking at him, said that Shor had returned, but he spat at their feet and for profaning that name. He led them anyway into the heart of the hinterland west, to drive the Eyelids inward towards the Tower of White Gold, a slow retreating circle that could not understand the power of man's sudden liberty, and what fury idea that brought. His mace crushed the thundernacks that Umaril sent his harriers on the rebellion's long march back south and east, and carried Morias' breath of kine to Zuthas, the clever-cutting man, a need with a Keptu name, for healing when the bull had fallen to a volley of bird beaks. And of course, at the Council of Skiffs, where all of the Parvania's armies and all the Nords shook with fear at the storming of the White Gold, so much that the Al-Esh herself counseled delay, Pelinal grew furious and made names of Umaril and made names of what cowards he thought he saw around him, and then made for the tower by himself. Pelinal often acted without thought.
This is so tedious to read, I'm sorry.
Song of Pelinal, Volume 5, on his love of Morahouse. It is a solid truth that Morahouse was the son of Kine. Whether or not Pelinal was indeed the Shezareen is best left unsaid, for once Plantanu, who favored the short sword, said it, and that night he was smothered by moths. It is famous, though, that the two talked of each other as family, with Morahouse as the lesser, that Pelinal loved him and called him nephew, but these could not merely be the fancies of immortals. Never did Pelinal counsel Morahouse in a time of war, for the man-bull fought magnificently and led men well, and never resorted to madness. But when the White Strake did warn against the growing love with Perif, we are Adam more, and change things through love. We must take care lest we beget more monsters on this earth. If you do not desist, she will take to you, and you will transform all Sirid if you do this. And to this the bull became shy, for he was a bull, and he felt his form too ugly for the Parvenia at all times, especially when she disrobed for him. He snorted, though, and shook his nose hoop into the light of the Secunda moon, and said, "She is like this shine on my nose hoop here, an accident sometimes, but whenever I move my head at night, she is there, and so you know what you ask is impossible." Song of Pelinal, Volume 6, on his madness. And it is said that he emerged into the world like a Patamek, that is, born by Sithis and all the forces of change therein. Still others, like Fift of New Teed, say that beneath Pelinal's star armor was a chest that gaped open to show no heart, only a red rage shaped in a diamond fashion, singing like a mindless dragon, and that this was proof that he was a myth echo, that where he trod were shapes of the first urging. Pelinal cared for none of this, and killed any who would speak god logic, except for the fair Perif, who he said enacts rather than talks, as language without exertion is dead witness. When those soldiers who heard him say this stared blankly, he laughed and swung his sword, running into the rain of kine to slaughter their eyelid captives, screaming, "O Akka, for our shared madness I do this. I watch you watching me watching back. Umaral dares call us out, for that is how we made him." And it was during these fits of anger and nonsense that Pelinal would fall into the madness, where whole swaths of lands were devoured in divine rampage to become void, and Alicia would have to pray for the gods for their succor, and they would reach down as one mind to soothe the White Strake until he no longer had the will to kill the earth in whole. And Garrett of the Men of Gi once saw such a madness from afar and maneuvered, after it had abated, to drink together with Pelinal, and he asked what such an affliction felt like, to which Pelinal could only answer, "Like when the dream no longer needs its dreamer." Song of Pelinal, Volume 7, on his battle with Umaril and his dismemberment.
This is a different note.
This fragment comes from a manuscript discovered from the ruins of the Elysian Order's monastery at Lake Canulus, which dates it to some time prior to the War of Righteousness, First Era 2321. However, textual analysis suggests that this fragment actually preserves the very early form of the song, perhaps from the mid-6th century. And so after many battles with Umaril's allies, where dead Aurorans lay like candlelight around the throne, and Pelinal became surrounded by the last eyelid sorcerer kings and their demons, each one heavy with virulence, the White Strake cracked the floor with his mace, and they withdrew, and he said, "Bring me Umaril that called me out." And while mighty in his aspect and wicked, deathless gold in Umaril favored ruin from afar over close combat, and so he tarried with the shadows of the White Tower before coming forth. More soldiers were sent against Palinal to die, and yet they managed to pierce his armor with axes and arrows. For Umaril had wrought each one by long virulence, which he had been hoarding since his first issue of Challenge. Presently, the half-elf showed himself, bathed in meridian light, and he listed his bloodline in the Eiledune and spoke of his father, a god of the previous Kapla's world river, and taking great delight in the heavy breathing of Palinal, who had finally bled. Text lost. And Umaril was laid low, the angel face of his helm dented into an ugliness which made Palinal laugh, and his unfeathered wings broken off, with sword strokes delivered while Palinal stood frothing above him, insulting his ancestry and anyone else that took ship from old Elnufe, which angered the other elvish kings and drove them to a madness of their own. They fell on him, speaking to their weapons, cutting the Palinal into eighths while he roared in confusion, which even the council of skiffs could hear. Text lost. Ran when the Moor shook the whole of the tower with his mighty bashing from his horns. The next morning, and some were slain in overabundance in the taking, and men looked for more eyelids to kill, but Palinal had left none save those kings and demons that had already begun to flee. It was Morahouse who found the White Strake's head, which the kings had left to prove their deeds, and they spoke of Palinal and said things of regret, but the rebellion had turned anyway, and more words were said between these immortals that even the Paravant would not deign to hear. Song of Palinal, Volume 8, on his revelation at the death of Al-Esh.
So it seems like the editor's notes were different between volumes. I'm not going to bother reading it again, though.
Editor's note. This is the oldest and most fragmentary. Thank you. Okay. I sometimes get that maybe some people are more into lore stuff than I am. I'm not 100% sure what the enjoyment of reading fragmentary texts of fictional worlds are. There have been much longer books in Elder Scrolls, first of all. I can sort of understand if you're reading something like pre-Socratic philosophy. These are thinkers who influenced later individuals who were very important to thought. And it is helpful to try and understand sort of the context in which these later thinkers had worked. But at least in the case of studying classics, for instance, we have history and we have archaeological evidence. Obviously, the only evidence of Nirn that we have exists, in the world that Bethesda has created. And so far as I can tell, there's no way to actually go and investigate any of this stuff. This exists entirely within these books. So it's I don't want to make this stuff full of whining and all of that, but one of the things that doesn't really work for me on this whole series is that the fragments make it very hard to read. And the thing is that it will never make sense. Unless there is something that will be filling in these gaps for me later that I just, or something that I've read before. I'll be honest with you. For the most part, most of these characters, I don't get who they are, other than within the references between, there's a couple, there are a couple of books that have all referenced these things, but I have only the broadest possible strokes of what this is. I don't know if I've learned anything new that I didn't already learn in terms of the islands and such. Anyways, we'll get through it. We decided to do 8 volumes, so. This is the oldest and most fragmentary of all the extant Palinal texts. It is, however, likely closest to the original spoken or sung form of the song, and therefore has great value despite its brevity. Strangely, it appears that Palinal is present at Alicia's deathbed, although he was killed by Umaril earlier in the saga, years before Alicia's death. Some scholars believe that this fragment is not actually a part of the Song of Palinal, but most accept its authenticity, although there is still much debate as to its significance. And left you to gather sinew with my other half, who will bring light thereby to that mortal idea that brings the gods great joy, that there is freedom, which even the heavens do not truly know, which is why our father, the text lost, in those first days spirit swirls before convention, that which we echoed in our earthly madness, let us now take you up, we will show our true faces, which eat one another in amnesia each age.
hack you to pieces.
Black Brugo is dead. I must report to Marius Caro and become a knight errant of the White Stallion.
You'll never take me.
I hate having to babysit the NPCs. Alright, so I'm reluctant to go any further.
Black Brugo is dead, right? So I'm going to be a knight? I'll go back and wait in the county hall. You'll tell me when I'm a real knight, please?
Yeah, okay, so they do just go off on their own.
It's you. The
It
hero
is
of
me.
Kavachi. This is
I mean, they say it's an honor, but they still arrest me if I break the law. If you're gonna have an empire, why not have a little corruption, right? Excuse me.
Yes!
You don't mind sharing, do you? So I suppose on the odd chance that there's some kind of a reward, I should probably try and sell off whatever I can.
Good day. Have a look around. You won't find better prices in all Tamriel. Tell your... Bye.
Good day. Have a look at my wares. I'm sure there's something to suit you. That's more than I'd usually pay. You drive a hard bargain. That's more than I'd usually pay. I appreciate. Be seeing you.
So now we try to become a knight. Should maybe just check out that other mercenary band too.
How can I help you? Good morning. Have you found Black Brugo? I hope you are here to tell me of Black Brugo's death.
Oh, that's what you wanted me to do. Yes, of course.
What news do you have of Black Brugo?
Black Brugo is dead.
Justice has been done, and henceforth, Mazoga and you shall be known as Knights of the White Stallion. May I present you with the perquisites of your rank, a key to White Stallion Lodge, and a shield bearing the arms of County Leyawiin. Mazoga's key and shield shall be delivered to her directly, and I promise you a bounty of 100 gold for each black bow you bring me.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I heard
Good
you
day,
know how to
Sir
move
Knight.
in light armor. What
do.
can I do for you?
Here,
I
rumors.
believe the rugged climate of Bruma suits Narina Carvain. She's tough and cold, but you always know what to expect from her. Be seeing you.
Oh my! Are you an adventurer?
I got see.
How are you?
Did you tell the Count about Black Brugo?
Yeah, I took all the credit.
So, am I a knight?
We're both knights errant.
God's ghoulies. Not just a knight, but a knight errant. That's a real special kind of knight, right? So go on, say it. Say, I greet you, Sir Mazoga.
Hail, Knight of the White Stallion.
Thank you kindly, Knight of the White Stallion. Sounds good. Damn good. I'm a knight errant now, and I don't care who knows it. So thank you. You've been good to me, and I won't ever forget it. So I better get started doing my good deeds, and maybe I'll see you at the White Stallion Lodge.
Hear any other rumors?
I was walking past Rosentia Galenus' home the other day, and I heard these strange animal noises or something from inside. Very odd.
Who's Rosentia Galenus?
Every time I pass by that woman's house, I hear odd animal noises and smell a foul odor. Maybe she's caring for some sick pet or something. Whatever it is, she should clean up her act. It's surprising that a wealthy woman like that would let her property fall into such disarray. Farewell.
Well, I guess we know what we're doing now. All right, then.
Please, help me. These stupid scamps are driving me crazy.
I can can help you if you wish.
Oh, thank you. I had a feeling buying that Daedric staff would be trouble. Now I'm paying for it with more than just some gold.
Alright, tell me about the staff.
A few weeks ago, a spellsword was passing through Leyawiin and heard that I like to buy curiosities. He wanted to sell the staff you see me carrying. I eagerly bought it, knowing the value of Daedric relics. In fact, I was a bit suspicious when he sold it so cheap. His loss, my gain, I figured. After examining it for a bit, I noticed a small word carved on it in runes. Using a book from my library, I translated it. The word was nonsense. However, when I spoke it and held the staff, 4 scamps suddenly appeared. I thought I was done for. Strangely, they all just stood there. It didn't take long before I realized they were following me. I couldn't be seen in town with scamps following, so I decided to discard the staff. I can't explain it, but somehow I can't compel myself to actually let it go. This staff is obviously cursed. Now I'm stuck with it.
So where do I fit in?
I need you to get over to the Mages Guild and talk to a good friend of mine, Alvis Uvenum. She's the only one in town that I trust. I was able to get a message to her earlier, but I've yet to get a reply. If I go, then the scamps will follow and my secret will be revealed to all.
Anything else you can tell me about it?
Alv should be able to help rid me of this staff. We play cards at the Three Sisters often and are old friends. Seek her advice.
Tell me about the scamps.
The beastly little creatures are nasty, smelly, noisy, and wrecking my beautiful house. I must be rid of them. I can't let people know I have scamps in here, or they'll think I've taken to Daedra worship. Try explaining that to the town guard. Alvis is a practiced researcher. She's sure to have some good information for you.
Hello, associate.
Looking for Alvies. Do you know where I can find them?
Hi there.
And so it begins.
I take it you want something.
Ha!
Poor Rosentia. She's been trapped in her house for days.
Why didn't you go help her? I'm sorry, how did you know?
Frankly, the smell gave you away. You must have stepped in, well, let's just say something that isn't pleasant. Just be sure and keep this quiet. If the other mages even knew that I was involved with Rosentia's new guests, I could get kicked out of the guild.
So what are we gonna do about the staff?
Doing a bit of digging, I'm afraid Rosentia's been stuck with the staff of the Everscan. Nasty bit of fun by Sheogorath, I'd say. The only way she can be rid of it is if someone willingly accepts it. It can't be discarded in any other manner. No one would buy that thing once it's activated like it's been. The only chance is to return it to its original resting place, Darkfathom Cave. Inside the cave, there's rumored to be a shrine to Sheogorath. That's where the staff can finally be dropped, and the scamps should remain behind. I also learned that the staff makes the owner move much slower than normal. I suppose it's another way the creator upped the annoyance factor. Please, bring Rosentia this information at once. And if you can, help her. I think she's about to crack under the pressure, poor thing. Send Rosentia my regards. If there's anything else I can do, please let me know.
So, I would think this is the sort of thing that I can give to Martin. And even if I couldn't, it would be hilarious. But if it does actually slow me down, I'm gonna look it up.
I was afraid you wouldn't come back.
So guess what?
Oh, please, I beg you. Take this staff to Darkfathom Cave and get rid of it and the scamps forever.
Wait, why can't you?
I can't fight. And who knows what's guarding the shrine? Plus, do you know how dirty caves are? It'll ruin anything I wear. Do this for me, and I'll reward you with another one of my curios I picked up a few years ago. A valuable ring. Are you ready?
Very well, I'm ready. I accept.
Here's the staff. As soon as you leave, the scamps will thankfully follow. Do be careful. I don't wish your death on my hands as well.
Anything else to say?
I'm sorry I ever laid eyes on that thing.
What about the scamps?
How am I ever going to get scamp smell out of my fine linens? Darkfathom Cave isn't that far from here, but the route may be treacherous. Be careful and journey safe.
Well, this isn't so bad. Alright, so I feel a bit bad doing this. I'm actually going to look it up because I don't really want to waste time on it, but... Yeah, so though the staff is of Daedric origin, it cannot be given to Martin in the quest, Blood of the Daedra. mean, it says the scamps are after me, but I don't see them. Ah.
I've arrived at Dark Fountain Cave. I should proceed inside. Where did these things all come from?
I guess I know there's a way out.
I've arrived at the shrine of Shegareth. I should find the altar and place the staff near it. No longer feeling the urge to possess the staff of the Everscamp. Place the staff near the altar of the shrine to Shegareth. The scamps seem pleased with their new home, and best of all, have stopped following me. I should return to Rosentia with the news.
I just don't know where the staff is. So I still think I want to check out the mercenary company if I can. After that, though, I do kind of want to move on so I can turn in some of the quests I've already been working on. And of course, get the remaining Mage's Guild recommendations.
I don't see any scamps or the staff. As promised, here's the ring. I bought it from a shop in the Imperial City many years ago for an ex-lover of mine. He ran off with someone else, so now the ring belongs to you. The owner of the shop called it the Ring of Eidolon's Edge. I think you'll like it.
I'm always happy with hand-me-downs. What can you tell me about Leyawiin?
Everyone in town knows about my hobby, collecting unusual examples of the arcane crafts. My husband left me quite comfortable, bless his cinders. What will I do with my collection of curiosities when I go? Donate them to the castle, of course. Farewell, and may you find your way home safely each night to a warm fire.
You know, you're really polite compared to some of the other people I
I
meet.
heard that some cult called The mythic Dawn is behind the Emperor's assassination.
So I've heard.
What's the news from the other parts of Tamriel?
Nothing I'd like to talk about.
Bye.
That's her nice way of saying you need to get out of her house.
I hope I can help.
Hear any rumors?
I heard that some cult called the Mythic Dawn is behind the Emperor's assassination. Bye. I am Gil, Sergeant of Sharpshooters, Blackwood Company. Bye.
Lieutenant Rana, Blackwood Company. Good day.
Just trying to see if there's anything to do here.
Good day. Be seeing you. I heard that some cult called the Mythic Dawn is behind the Emperor's assassination.
I'm not sure I believe it. I mean, who would be crazy enough to help the Daedra invade Tamriel? Have you heard any word about the other provinces?
Good news
How
from
do you
Glatch
do, Marsh has become more
the last of the...
dangerous?
Alright, let's see if the Fighters Guild wants any help with them. Assuming I can find the Fighters Guild.
Pleasure to speak with you.
Apparently not. Nobody has anything to say to me.
I hope I can.
Any
I sure
rumors?
wish Vitellis hadn't died. That sure was a mess. Farewell.
I hope I can help. I guess Rosentia Galenus got rid of whatever barnyard animal she was keeping inside her house. Smells much better now. Take care.
Thank you for closing that Oblivion gate. Despite what the Count may say, we're all in your debt.
Wait, what's the Count saying?
Take care.
How about mixing up some potions? You look like...
Oh, alright. I'm assuming I've done something wrong in the Fighters Guild at some point. Just because it feels like I signed up and I haven't been able to do anything about it since.
Welcome. Please don't be shy. I'm listening.
Alright, so I think probably the best I can do here is we'll turn in with a Darji. And then maybe back to, there's actually two reasons I should go back to Skingrad. One of them is it's destruction focused, so I'd like to make sure that I can buy up whatever spells I missed the first time. And then second, if I can turn in the quest. It used to be fun. See, it says you can soul traps creatures you summon yourself, but I believe I tried, and it wouldn't let me. I don't even want to imagine what happened to the Adoring Fan. I'm sure they'll show up. I'm also trying to remember if there were any Daedric shrines along the way here. So there's one here. Taking care of Shigarath and Nocturnal. It makes me wonder how many I can find just by talking to people along the road.
I'm gonna go get me some black bows. Tag along if you like.
That's kind of fun, actually. I sort of expected to see her in the castle. Just trying to make sure I'm not overshooting, Bravo. Excuse me. It's probably the Daedric.
Oh, what? Ow!
So after Bravo, I'll double check what I have in mind. I guess it's Skingrad, and then whatever kills I haven't turned in with, or haven't done the recommendation for. Oh God. Law-abiding, purely.
So good to see you again.
Ah, yes, I remember you. Never mind.
Farewell, friend. What a shame.
Bye.
Take care. You have returned?
Let's talk about the ring.
Good work. You are truly an asset to the guild. I will make sure the Grey Fox himself hears about this. I am promoting you to Prowler. Congratulations.
Thanks. Tell me more about the Grey Fox.
He is the greatest of all thieves. I have heard it said that he stole his gray cowl from Nocturnal herself.
Any fines and bounty to pay?
The hunter can pay his fines to the guards, serve his time, or pay this one half, and they will all go away.
I'll handle it on my own.
This one hopes the hunter enjoys the cage.
Any other special jobs?
I have a small problem that you may be able to help with. The guild will even pay a reward. That buffoon, Hieronymus Lex, has invaded the Imperial City waterfront. Imperial watch guards from all over the city prowl the streets.
How bad is it?
Hieronymus Lex has vowed not to leave until the Grey Fox is in custody. The fox is safe, but the Thieves Guild cannot do business like this. The poor of the waterfront are kindred to the Grey Fox and will not betray him. However, cubs soon get hungry. Soon someone will break. Many guild members could be jailed. Find Methridil in the Imperial City. She is coordinating the guild's response. Shadow hide the hunter.
All right, so I will handle that, but that's obviously in the Imperial City, and there's other things that we can do. I wish there was a way to zoom out the map. That seems to be on the way, at least. Probably worth following up on at some point.
Independent thievery. I've reached my goal. I fenced over 300 gold worth of goods. I should go and see Scriva sometime. She might have something
You have
for
the
me.
hands of a healer.
Amuse.
Apparently not.
Shadow hide the...
So right now this is just a convenient excuse to get through some of the intermediate work that I wanted to. I am going to need to make a decision as to whether or not I want to go to Anvil right away. And then I suppose the last step is I need to review which mages guilds I've visited and which ones I haven't.
Oh, what's the matter? Is the baby gonna cry? Ah! Ah! Ah!
I'm not even trying. I guess I don't really need to be picking up the lockpicks either, seeing as I have the skeleton key. Apparently at this point I'm not stopping for the loot, I'm just stopping for the sheer joy of killing nature.
Hail, friend. Good to see you again. What can old Mannheim help you with?
Any rumors?
Nobody goes into the mountains but hunters and thieves on the land. Food and shelter is hard to come by. Goodbye, my friend. And remember, you're always welcome here.
Warm day to you, friend. Well met. Bye. Can you help me find my lost jumbo potatoes?
Tell me more.
Please, you must help me find them. If I don't have them for the next batch of my famous potato bread, I don't know what I'll do. How stupid I was to leave them outside all alone like that. All I wanted to do was give them some sun. Next thing I knew, they were gone. I saw someone running off to the west, but I'm too frightened to journey into the woods alone. Please, can you help me? I'll pay you well, I swear.
Go ahead, please.
What kind of training do you offer?
I've heard word of your great deeds. It's good to meet someone else striving to be known throughout the land. We're peas in a pod, you and I. I'd be happy to offer whatever help I can. Knowledge is the key to success in any endeavor. Knowledge is the...
The cuts and nicks from long practice sessions with all manner of blades has its benefits. You are now master of blade weapons. Your rushing power attack now has a chance to paralyze your opponent. Press and hold attack while moving forward to use this power attack.
There's much I can show you.
Apparently
Good day.
there's not. Have at you.
I've encountered an ogre out in the wilderness that seems to be carrying Sajira's thief, as it was carrying her jumbo potatoes.
Well, that or the ogre ate the thief.
How are you?
I'm missing something here. Oh, hang on, I know.
You have them. You have them. I can sense they're with you. Oh my goodness, you found them. Oh, I could kiss you. As promised, I owe you a reward for your efforts. I present you with my first batch of famous potato bread, more valuable than gold. Enjoy.
Hear any rumors?
Nibene is a region of mixed farmland, parkland, and forest.
Thanks.
Safe journey.
Does that count as a rumor? Of course I'm over encumbered. How much does this bread weigh?
It's you. Hi.
Hello.
A pleasure to speak with you. Please, go on.
Let's
What
make
can
a
I do?
deal.
You've got to. I can't afford. And excellent. I can't. to make a better offer. You got a fine transaction. Thank you for your patronage. Bye.
Stupid jerk bears. I already talked to them, otherwise I would check for Daedric news. So in Skingrad we're going to have the alchemy training, which doesn't mean anything, and the nerd route, which might. And then following that, my options are... I should actually work this out now. So we've been to Leyawiin. Doesn't seem like this. We've been to Jadenhall. Been to Bruma. We've definitely been in the Imperial City. Skingrad's where we're heading to. Kvatch we've normally been to. It's Anvil, that's the last. I think that's true. I believe we've been to Coral. So I think at this point we'll check out what happened to the Temple of Dibella. That'll also give us our chance to get our last recommendation. And of course there will almost certainly be things that we need to do in between, but that's at least the roadmap. Maybe take a minute. So if I'm looking forward like this, apparently there's a...
I played Lord Vile's game and lost my soul. Small loss, I think.
You approach the shrine of Clavicus Vile. You should not be here unless you have business with Lord Clavicus.
What have you heard out here?
Daedra lords demand offerings and services. If you won't do as you're told, just forget about it. Here we worship Lord Clavicus. Do you have business with the Daedra?
They do.
There are many deals to be made, even with a god. You could find great wealth, or painful death. If you wish to bargain with Clavicus Vile, approach with an offering of 500 gold, and hope the Lord smiles on your offering.
Little known fact, in the 6th era, he's known as Bernard Madoff.
Go then.
A mortal! Wonderful. Always a pleasure. Perhaps you'll do service for me, mortal, and I'll reward you. A fair bargain, don't you think? You will retrieve for me a sword. A very special sword. It contains the soul of Umbra, a hero I have had dealings with in the past. Bring the sword to me, and I'll reward you with my mask. You'll not find a better bargain, mortal. Begin your search in Hell's Gate.
When I gave my offering at the Shrine of Clavicus Vile, the Daedra Lord told me about Umbra, and how he wishes me to return him the Umbra sword. I should start my search in Hell's Gate.
So we've definitely found Umbra before. I also don't think I have the weight. So we are gonna save that for a later time.
Hello! Hey! Pay attention! In your pack, the dog. I swear, you heroes aren't particularly quick on the uptake. Good. Got your attention. I'm Barnes, the Hound of Clavicus Vile. Not that I've always been hounded, or always been called Barnes. I've also been a red gun. For a while I was a scamp, making deals with orcs. But for now, I am his hound, and I serve the Lord. A word of advice here. You've made a bad deal. This Umbra, bad business. Things always end badly where that is concerned. Clavicus has always been a little blind to that. And it'll end badly this time too. So just leave things be. Walk away. It's your best bet, really.
Barbas, the Hound of Clavicus Vile, has spoken to me through the figurine that appeared in my pack. He tells me that returning the Umbra sword to Clavicus Vile is a mistake, likely to cause great ruin to Vile's domain.
I wonder if you get a bonus if you attack a Spriggan with a wood axe. The last thing I want to do now is find out that I'm just on the verge of getting into the city and then have the game crash. Where are you going? I don't even really know if I'm catching up. I suppose I could have just got on the horse and ran ahead, then dismounted. Still, it's inconvenient.
Can I help you, brother?
Your bravery is the talk of Skingrad. Well done!
Thank you. I guess there's no trading then, huh?
Goodbye.
Allow me to extend my congratulations on your daring victory over the evil forces of Oblivion. I am at your service.
Who are you again?
You know, if you need to get better at archery, you should talk to Raymond Broder. He's quite a good shot. Take care.
Pleasure to speak with you. Be seeing you.
Fantastic. Thanks for asking.
Hooray.
Goodbye.
Good day. I hope I... Try the big goblin.
Good day. My advice is to close quick with the skirmishers, the petty spellcasters. But the shamans are real trouble. Shamans have wicked magics, drains, paralyze, bad stuff. Stand off and shoot or spell shamans down if you can.
Any rumors?
I hope nobody tries to get away with anything when Captain Dion is around. He's a tough customer. Goodbye. There's a charge in the air. Been casting some destruction spells?
She knows.
Greetings to you. Welcome back. How goes the search?
Let's talk about training just so I can get that off my
Training?
list.
Oh, I'm afraid that's not my area of expertise. I'm very focused on wines right now, you see. Wonderful thing, wine. It's all about the balance. The flavor, the bouquet, the consistency. Just wonderful. I'm sorry, what? Training, right. I'll make you a deal. You fetch me a bottle of each of the best wines from Skingrad, and I'll think about it. Both vineyards, Tamika's and Surly Brothers, vintage 399. Oh, what a good year that was.
All right, let's talk about Nernroot.
If you need to know more about the Nern route, read the missive.
All right, let's talk about the elixir then.
Fantastic. You actually found 10 of the Nern route. I'll begin making the elixir of exploration right away. According to my research from the tome, I'll need at least 20 more Nern route to make the next magnitude of elixir. In any case, if you come back in about 24 hours, I should have the weaker elixir ready for you.
So I'm not exactly in a rush to get
You've
that.
got the hands of a smith. Must have spent some time repairing your gear.
So apparently I have simultaneously the hands of a smith and the hands of a healer. I'm kind of curious how I get my horse.
Look at the muscles on you.
So I should also probably sell some of my surplus.
By the 9 divines.
You two would get along really well. All right.
Fight. Good day. What can I interest you in?
I think the real question is, what are you interested in?
A good a fine. You drive a hard bargain. That's more than I'd usually pay.
I guess I gotta hang on to that. Really gotta do something to get rid of the ogre teeth.
Thank you. I like. Bye.
Wait, why can't I sell
I
him the
hope I
belt?
can. May I interest you in some of my fine wares?
Another. Goodbye. A coin for an old beggar?
Well, I saw Earthor earlier. Guess someone rescued him again. Hide your scrolls while you can. Knowledge is power. May I interest you in some... Be seeing you.
Good day. Half of the Council of Mages resigned when Draven took over the position of Archmage. There's much I can show you.
Yeah, we might as well.
Let's get knowledge. Have a look at my way. Good day. Well met. May I interest you?
Sorry, for some reason I thought there was something in there.
Morning.
What is it now?
They say that when you murder someone, the Dark Brotherhood comes to you in your sleep.
Well met. I can get all... Have a look around. You won't find better prices in all...
Yeah, I'll buy it anyway.
Thank you.
Save myself
Come
the
again.
trouble.
Good to know. So long.
I hope I can help. I don't know what Archmage Traven has against necromancy, but the first thing he did after taking over the Mages Guild was to ban its practice. May I interest you in some of my fine wares? Pleasure to serve you.
Farewell.
Starting to hope to find somebody who could sell me alchemy gear, but
Good day. Goodbye.
Well met, guildmate. You have the hands of a healer.
alright, let's find a way around this.
You have my ears.
There is a side of me that wonders if I could try and like jump into the middle of the city, but I think that would be a fantastic way to break things.
Oh, hello.
Heard it. Any news from the other bodies?
Alright.
And you?
Ah! I was just about to save too, because I'm like, you know what, I bet something stupid's about to happen. Ugh. Sorry. I know I'm getting impatient with the game lately, and I'm not talking a whole lot about it, but it definitely really breaks the flow.
Heard any news from the other provinces?
I was gonna say, I was wondering if I just started the Tamriel space program doing that. Well, I was originally intending to try and take this soul. So I think that's Kvatch. Yeah. So one of the things that's really interesting about trying to get to Anvil is obviously a lot of what we've seen in the area is familiar. It might have been a while since we've seen it, but it's still material that we've been to. Whereas Anvil's something we've been hearing about from the very start, but we've not actually followed up on. It might be a little bit too low level for me now, but I mean, that's always a risk. Plus I get a chance to see some of the scenery. I really like this part. Excuse me.
You have the hands of a healer.
It is very nice that Tamriel is the sort of place where people will just run by you on a horse, throwing compliments.
Your money or your life?
My God, my horse's backside is threatening me.
Easily done.
Ah!
Cool power. Alright, I know that this is a little bit early to end on, but I'm actually going to end this here for the simple reason that I have been really struggling to get some Oblivion episodes recorded. So finishing this one here lets me get it encoded and uploaded it right away. And if I can get the encoding done on time, I should be able to upload a second episode and get myself back on track. So I apologize for cutting it about half an hour short, but it does mean that I'm going to be able to record a second one today, and I think that's better overall. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week.